Hello, my name is Ilona and today is Monday, June 19th, 2023. I shared this morning a clip from Tim Ballard. He is talking about his documentary. I believe he's part of the documentary Hidden War. It's about what's happening to the children, the trafficking, all things happening to children, and it's very important that this is getting out. He's also the story behind The Sound of Freedom. Jim Caviezel plays Tim Ballard in that movie. And if I'm not mistaken, the movie will be released, or at least for the bigger public, for July 4th. And Elon Musk already asked if it could be placed on Twitter. What happened, of course, with the documentary of Matt Walsh as well. What is a Woman? Millions and millions of people saw that because it was put on Twitter. So hopefully, and it wouldn't surprise me if it would end up on Twitter because it's so important. If I'm not mistaken, Mel Gibson will not be part of the Hidden War documentary, but because that was going around that he was connected to it. But if I'm not mistaken, Tim Ballard said somewhere that that wasn't the case, but it's a very important documentary. It's very important that it's getting out. All these things that's happening with children. And he's also talking in the clip that I shared on Telegram that the normalization is going on now. Normalizing things happening to children with intimacy. And I'm talking the negative side effect of that. Concerning children, that it's now being normalized, that that's normal to do. And we see it here in the Netherlands and also in America, and I think worldwide, with all these strange, how do you say this, things, they come up, lessons, they've come up here in the Netherlands. We had free lessons for middle school, and it's talking about things, certain developments that has connected to intimacy, and they're telling very young children about this. And fortunately, a lot of parents complained. So I think the lessons were stopped, and a lot of schools refused to work or cooperate with these lessons. But these were free lessons. Talking about all kinds of things, I see things coming out from America that this is happening there as well, with all these strange normalizing certain activity and certain things which should not be normalized. And I think his message is extremely important. And hopefully when the documentary gets out and there's a link to it, I will of course share it. And hopefully Sound of Freedom will be available on Twitter, so people can anywhere around the world can watch that, because a lot of things in Twitter have changed. They're not suppressing this anymore, so it's so important that this gets out. People need to hear about this, because this war is really about protecting our children, protecting the children of humanity, the children of God. The other thing that I also shared was Dr. John Campbell. He's on YouTube, and he's talking about a study from Korea that's connected to myocarditis and, of course, the stings. And of the they're trying to play this off, of course, to people behind the stings. There's just some side effects. It's very rare and it's very mild. Well, it's not that mild and it's not that rare. So it's very interesting. These things apparently are now being shared. And like I've mentioned, Twitter, these things are not being suppressed anymore, so people can actually read these studies. And if I'm not mistaken, some things, studies from Japan will be most likely available as well. I believe a little girl, or a 14-year-old girl, very young girl, died after the sting, and that was proven. And things like this are going to come out now more and more and more, and they won't be able to push this away. So this is a very interesting development. In my video, I'm going to look at something that is very Dutch, because but I do think it shows the politicians around the world how they're trying to get rid of certain things and trying to avoid certain legal matters. So I do want to, mention this in this video as well. I did my first card reading about the A status here in the Netherlands. they needed to make these restrictions based on something. So what's been going on the past 3 years, they actually made it A status. So it was comparable to Ebola, and it was just nonsense to begin with. Well, now they dropped the A status. We now have, of course, the public health law I've mentioned a couple of weeks ago. They pushed that one through. And now they dropped the status for what's been going on the past 3 years. So it's very strange. And a lot of attention is now focused on this. And this is a trick they use all the time. So there's going to be a recess here in the Netherlands with the parliament. And of course the Eerste and Tweede Kamer, the Senate and the members of parliament. And so they push things through that. They also do that before the Christmas recess. So the important things that they don't really want to talk about or mention, they put out right before that. So then, of course, people will be on recess, and when they come back, they have this load of files on top of that. So people won't be talking about that or mentioning that because there's now such a focus on it. And of course, people are noticing this. And it was reported in a Dutch newspaper that the status has been dropped. And yes, let's just say a newspaper, at least a news media outlet. So people are catching on to that. Not only that's the trick, not only that the dark energies in a way, these are just puppets following their agenda, trying to get rid of the illegal side of things. So they're now dropping it. And the entire status was nonsense to begin with. But it opens people's minds. At least that's how I see it. And there's already criticism, and that's on Twitter as well. That's very interesting because it's not being suppressed anymore. So people are reading it. It's very strange that after you've made this public health law with all these restrictions in there, that suddenly this status where these restrictions were based on has been dropped. Yeah, there should be some consequences for that law as well. But I just wanted to take a look at the energy behind dropping this A status. What's going on with that? Well, we have the Chariot. We've got the Judgment card as the central card. We have the 8 of Cups in the past. We've got the 9 of Cups underneath the Judgment card. And for the future, we've got the 7 of Wands, the 9 of Swords, and I actually pulled an extra card, the 5 of Cups. To me, this feels like moving away from something and waking people up. This is my wake up people card, especially when you look at the image. And this is just showing what's been going on for a very long time politically. They try to get rid of all these things. So they probably just followed their agenda, not realizing that it's now being shown and people can read about that and wondering, well, where is this public health law now based on exactly? So this is going to be very interesting how they're going to, and I think they're going to be more and more focused on that, even though it's now before recess, but people are reading it, people are seeing it, people are, you know, just these illusions, these political illusions, these are just blowing up, these bubbles are bursting. So this is more to me a wake up card, and the Chariot moving away from this. I do not believe it will be really used anymore. And we have this Wish card, which is very interesting. But I think this is changing people's perspectives, and that's what this is about. Especially in the future, this is the card standing in a better position, and I do believe that we are standing in a better position. I believe worldwide people are in a better position and starting to realize all these political tricks, all these political nonsense that they try to create and try to, you know, base things on. It's just shown now. Here in the Netherlands, it's really so obvious now. But around the world, they try these tricks. And I think this will lead to people standing up. There will be a fear like, well, why are you still using, why we still have this law based on nothing really? And there's going to be a lot of sadness. I think a lot of things are coming out about the stings. I've noticed it in my environment that people now have a certain disease which is spread around their entire body. There's nothing they can do about it. Very rare forms of that disease. It's almost like, it's suddenly within like weeks, someone hears that they have it, and then within 2-3 weeks it's completely spread. There's nothing they can do about it. Things like that. And I also notice people that have gotten the stings, they have these vague complaints, like vague, they don't really know, they're very tired, or they have these skin rashes or things like that. It's almost like we call it kwakkelen in Dutch. And it literally means that someone keeps getting sick, but there's not really a reason for it, but they're not optimal. They're not in they just keep going from one vague illness to another one and to another one, and so most of the times they don't even know what's going on. That's what the term kwakkelen means. It just keeps going and going and going and going. And I think that we're really going to see that more and more. We really are at the height, so to speak, of people starting to experience these setbacks and of course the damage that's been done by the stings. We're really seeing things, and like I've mentioned before looking at this card reading, things are coming out. We have now more studies coming out, and they are not being suppressed anymore, not in the way that the media want to suppress them. Like I said, on Twitter, a lot of things you can read now, and it's not like something attached to it or it's just taken away. People can read these things. So to me it feels like this is bringing people in a better position. There's going to be some fear about it as well, and a lot of sadness, but I think people are waking up and starting to realize this. I don't think that we have to be afraid that they're going to use this for another health scare like what happened the past 3 years. I do believe that there will be a maybe small period of time, I'm not sure, that we will need to remain in our places or in our homes that's connected to the whiteheads. That's how I see it. But I don't think that they'll be able to push this through. They're still working towards this, the dark energies. They're still wanting things with climate, maybe a new health scare, things like that. They're still trying to create that, but I don't think they're going to get very far. But people can get very stressful about this and fearful. But people will be standing up, and humanity is in a way better position than where they are at and what they are capable of. So we should really trust that and stand up for ourselves. So I also looked at the energy for this week. And the cards I've got for the energy for this week is the Sun. We have the Two of Pentacles and the High Priestess. Well, the Sun is actually very beautiful energy. So I do think that for the people that, are aware of what is going on, this is going to be a good week. Here in the Netherlands, we've had a lot of sun lately, a lot of weeks of sun. Today it's actually different, and I think there's actually going to be rain tomorrow, which has been rare the past few weeks. But I think the sun, positive energy changes. Yesterday was a new moon, so we are in a new energy. To me, it's what I'm sensing as well. Children, that's also the card of children, of course, the sun. So I do think things with children will be coming out. And it will be better for humanity when more and more things will come out concerning that. So people are aware of what's been going on. The Two of Pentacles, they're going to be more of a balance. So I do believe there will be a balanced week. And we have the High Priestess. So that means more and more scandals, more and more, secrets are coming out. The High Priestess is showing more, because usually it's like the veil and we don't know what's going on and things going on behind the scenes. Although I do think most likely a lot of things are going on behind the scenes. But we're also going to see more scandals, more secrets. Things will be known, things will be shown. And then we have the cards for the advice for this week. Two of Swords. I think first was the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands. And this is an interesting combination. So this is about, I'm sorry about that. This is about listening to your intuition, trusting that everything will be all right. That's a beautiful energy just to feel. If you don't feel that inside, something comes up, just feel through that. Just embrace everything that's coming up. But it's very important that we trust and that we remain, you know, not faced by everything that's going on. We are seeing the collapse of a lot of things. Let it happen. Trust that you are protected. You're a child of God. You're protected. You're safe. Trust your intuition. Also, if you want to start things, especially with these cards. The Knight of Wands, you can just see him waiting, like, oh, I want to just take off and just see what makes you happy. What are you passionate about? But also see if you can make plans, because that's what it's a balance between these two cards as well, the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands just wants to take off, jump into things. And the Knight of Pentacles is more like, let's see first what I can do, how I can, you know, manifest this, or what is it I really want. So see what makes you happy. Then, of course, pause, take a small pause, see how you can start manifesting this, trusting your intuition, follow your intuition, and then just take off. Because it's very important, obviously, working with your shadow work, you know, your shadow side, but also with your light side. It's about balancing these things. So only focusing on the darker parts in yourself, the shadow, you know, you need to balance that out and look at the light side and the lighter side in yourself as well. You know, there are a lot of people, and I am one of them, that is still a bit afraid of their own strength, their own power, because of things that happened in past lifetimes or in your youth. It doesn't really matter. The issue is now to balance those things. And this is one of these, I think this week it's possible to really start manifesting something that you want to create into this world. And it's very important to listen to your intuition, because if you follow your intuition, if you follow like, oh, I should call this person or I should go there, because that's the process some people don't really understand. Working with your energy is not that you're just at home really just working inside of yourself and nothing is coming out. That's not the case. Changing your energy means that you're going to make different decisions, and those decisions will be visible in the world around you. And that is how you start manifesting, because changing your energy, you start attracting other people, you start attracting other situations, and you can start manifesting what you truly want. That's why this combination is so important. Follow your intuition, see what makes you happy, what you really want to do, and then start taking steps to start manifesting that. And you can do that the best way, listening to your intuition. If you start manifesting from this fearful place or anger or frustration, you will see that reflected in the world around you. So you will face resistance. You will see that things just don't flow, or it's not happening, or you can't manifest what you truly want. It's only half what you want. So it's very important to get your energy aligned with what you truly want, because then you can take the steps and things will start to flow. So I'd like to leave it at this, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.